It's your boy PTK Blam back with another episode of the Shop Podcast. We got a great lineup of guests as we do every week here. As I typically start out, I want to say thank you for everybody coming out, checking out the live show, the live podcast. Got a lot of topics lined up for everybody to get into. As I always do, go around the panel. Got some special guests, got some people that have been here numerous times. So I'm gonna let each one of them go ahead and give themselves a shout out. Go ahead and we'll start with our guest here, Rand.
What's up, guys? So I guess I'm on the podcast world tour this week. I'm taking the baton from Mooch.
All right, cool. So just a great segue. So let's go ahead and announce our other guest. Go ahead, Mooch.
What's good, everybody? Yeah, I'm just mooching people's shows now. That's what I'm doing. I'm just hopping in and out, But thanks for having me on, guys. I do appreciate it, and you guys are a lot of fun to hang out with. You're insightful, and I think our debate, as much as it can be, we could teeter on pissing some people off. I think we get to the facts. So, looking forward to tonight.
Thank you. Pretty much, and I got another guest here also too. Go ahead and give yourself a shout out, Zaz.
All right, Zaz Blyman Mataz, Boba Fett of the internet. Happy to be on I haven't been on the Shop podcast yet. But PTK, you know me for the most part, so it's exciting to be on this one.
For sure. Thank you. And my right-hand man who needs no introduction, go ahead and give yourself a shout-out, GKB.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's GKB. Gamers knows best. I'm ready to rock out with these awesome dudes.
All right, for sure. Let's go ahead and get started. So, as we typically do as I start, this has become a new tradition. We go around the panel first, ask everybody what they're playing. And by the way, I just want to remind everybody, any questions, we're still going to do the questions at the end of the podcast. Go ahead and throw them in the live chat. It is up if you're watching. So put all your questions there. We'll get to those at the end of the show. But let's go ahead and get to these motherfucking games. So who's playing what? So let's go ahead and start with Zazma. What are you playing this week, brother?
I don't know if anybody saw it pop up in the special EA sale, but they were doing the Dragon Age Inquisition with every DLC pack for like $19. And I had the game originally, figured I'd get all the DLC packs, and I just did a save game, and I have 225 hours in this game, and it's still going. So that's got most of my time.
So it doesn't end like Witcher 3, huh?
Oh no, it's never ending.
It sucks you in, it won't let you go.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on. GKB, what you been playing this week, brother?
I've been playing a lot of Unravel. She-Wolf went ahead and 100% of that game. I'm close to it. And I'm working on Amazing Princess Sarah. It's on kind of a little cool indie game.
Okay, all right, for sure. What you been playing, Rand? Your laundry list of games.
It's actually been light this week for the most part. 100% at Unravel. I thought it was a good game, not a great game. I think it was marred a little bit by the ending level, actually quite a bit. Like, I despised that last level. And what else have I been playing? With another thing, like, I don't think it's worth $20. So I'm gonna say that like out of the gate. Like, save your money on Unravel, people. Wait for a sale on that one. Honestly, I played Destiny last night. I know. You guys are all stunned, right?
Hey. No, not stunned. I still play Destiny myself. PvP.
Mm-hmm. I did the Crimson Doubles playlist. A buddy of mine told me if you complete the bounty, the 7 games, you when the event ends, you get a 320 Ghost. So I was like, you know what? I don't have a 320 Ghost, so I did that. So I played that for a little bit. Still Destiny. It was nice. It was nice to see the tower all in pink. I haven't really played. I have a bunch of indie games that I haven't played. I was gonna do that tomorrow on stream, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been just pretty much playing Unravel and going on other people's podcasts for hours upon hours talking about stuff. Essentially.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you being here, man. I appreciate you taking that time out today. All right, so last guest here, the Mooch, a.k.a. Mr. I Know Everything, also known as Mr. New York. Let's go ahead and see what you've been playing this week, brother.
Playing a lot of Dying Light expansion, the following. Pretty good. I mean, I kind of like how Rand's feeling about, Unravel. I got to say the same thing about the following, and I'm a huge Dying Light fan. I think it's good. I'm glad I got in and bought the season pass early for $19.99. I might have been a little bit sour if I bought it for $29.99. Game's good, but it's just a lot more of the same which is okay. That part's still okay. I would have been like still 2 thumbs up. The reason I'm a thumb up and 1 thumb sideways is because, to be honest with you, they made the map massive. It's huge, and kudos to them for doing that. Thank you for putting the time and effort. And it looks great, but there's no need. Now I'm just traveling 15 minutes on a buggy to get to the mission that used to take only maybe like 5 minutes with just the whatever the rappel thing we used to, just like I don't know, for some reason I just think that they went hardcore when they didn't need to, but maybe it's too early. Maybe I'm just not that far into it. But I put we're doing all the side missions, and then I'm going to do the main story last. So we've got about 6 hours into it, but what I was doing earlier was taking notes with Rand. Rand, how do I get that 320 Ghost again? Say it again.
So the event that's going on, which ends Monday or tomorrow, it's Crimson Doubles. All you have to do is go to the Crucible guy. He's got a quest, and it's literally just complete 7 games in the Crucible Doubles playlist with the fire team member, and it's 2v2. So the games go by pretty fast. And once you complete the 7 games, turn the quest in, you get a reward. But they also said on Monday, anybody who's completed the quest, there'll be a 320 Ghost waiting in the package thing. So.
I have to do that, man. That's a.
Well, yeah. All right. So, Blam, I'll see you in about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yep.
You'll be seeing me too. I'll be on
there. All right, the Red Tower, guys. Let's do it.
So much. Do you think that they're just artificially extending the gameplay of Dying Light? Then is that what? So instead of taking, getting to the mission and doing it fast, you think it's like, all right, so now I got to drive all the way across the field. Do you think
remember, Rand, did you play the original?
I did. I actually really liked the game. I thought it was really good.
It was great. You know how like when you were in an area and it had a lot of zombies in it, and then it would say like, oh, press the select button if you want to activate like this inside the game challenge, you and your friends. Like, well, now they've put a ton more zombies out there, a ton more in these open fields, and everywhere you go on the way to quests, you can stop and kind of get lost inside games. You know what I mean? Like beating these up or shock this many in this area because there's like huge puddles and there's electric undone cables hanging in there and you got to kick them into there and it's and don't get me wrong, that's fine, but that's a lot of filler. Those mini games inside games. I think that's nice that they put that in there, but they end up being more annoying. And the other issue I have is the buggies. Like, apparently, maybe when I get going and I get a couple more missions in on the main missions, I'll be able to build this thing up. But, like, the minute you get going, you run out of gas. The minute you run into zombies, they all can, because your buggy's not powerful enough, they all jump on top, and then, like, you're just stuttering out, you got to get out, and then you have 50 million zombies run, and some of your friends are blown way ahead of you, and then you, like, we said this as a joke last night. There was 4 of us playing, and we said, I've never played a co-op multiplayer and felt so not in a multiplayer co-op. I was basically alone the whole night because everybody kind of gets dispersed because you're going a million miles an hour in the buggy, and if one guy has more gas than the other one, or the other guy built up his buggy a little more than you're going to get held up and pulled back. Meanwhile, he doesn't know that you're having a problem. I mean, you could say, you say, I'm having a problem, whatever, but you're just going 100 miles an hour in your fucking car, so, like, you're just gone. And then you're like, where are you? I don't know, where are you? And the minute you get out, there's 50 million zombies for everybody to fight. So it's like you get lost, and then you try to find each other, and 3 hours later, you got nothing done. Yahtzee.
Okay.
So, but don't get me wrong, it passes time. It's a lot of fun. The graphics are better. So, I mean, if you got $30 to burn a hole in your pocket, it's decent.
All right, well, all right, so let's go ahead.
Sorry about that, Blam. I did it again.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're fine. All right, everybody. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of the podcast. What everybody came to see. Let's get down on some of these topics that's been going around this week. Not that everybody doesn't fucking know already, but the first topic we're going to start with the whole Quantum Break situation. Honestly, I was juggling kind of back and forth about talking about it or not because it's really been talked about to death. Everybody's done a video on it, so I just want to touch on it briefly. My perspective on it, everybody knows what happens unless you've been under a rock. But my perspective is I don't give a fuck. I mean, it doesn't really bother me at all. It doesn't change my pre-order, does not affect my gaming experience. I don't feel like Xbox or Microsoft is abandoning us in any way, shape, or form. It is just another option for people who may want to play on their PC. And that's all I look at it as. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the panel, get everybody's opinions. in particulars on how they felt about the situation. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Mooch on this one.
Oh, you mean, we're going to go from the good times to what happened this past week? Hey, listen, I've done multiple podcasts, as you guys have, as Rand has. Look, here's my take on it. Everything's great, and I'm not just spinning it. I've said this. I don't see an issue as long as Microsoft continues to make hardware. Okay, that's the real significance here. Once Microsoft says they're out of the hardware business, or you start seeing them decline on that, let's be honest. Mike Ibarra has been on multiple podcasts in the past 3 months telling us that there's going to be something fantastic in the works that's of the caliber of backwards compatibility in the next year and then the year after that at E3 that they're going to announce. They just gave us a spectacular, the best controller anybody who's been gaming since the 80s has ever had in the Elite controller. That's a lot of money that went into that, okay? They're making hardware. They give a shit. Now, what they're doing is they're opening up. Microsoft has always been in the PC world. They just neglected it the past 10 years, okay? They haven't paid any attention to it. Phil, Satya Nadella's, they want to provide a service. Their service is going to be able to pretty much wrap up 2/3 of this business. They're going to have the console space, and they're going to have the PC space. You know, they're going to have 2/3 of what's really out there in this big gaming pie. And this is, you know, don't get me wrong, the initial reaction, you can't point the finger at anybody and say to anybody, oh, you shouldn't have that reaction, whether it was good or bad, because you could take it either way. And there's a lot of unknowns, okay? I'm trying to make lemonade out of this. But a lot of people saw it, and a lot of people did feel a little bit slighted, just because it's been mixed messaging. We've been getting mixed messaging from Microsoft since 2013. And, you know, some of us are able to read through the lines and think of it in one aspect, but other people are looking at it like, no, this is just what I like. I like this ecosystem, and now you're taking it away from me. You have to understand that that you can read in between the lines and see where these folks are coming up with that. Myself personally, I'm trying to stay positive with it, because it is easy for me to look at that and say, oh my God, we may be looking at Xbox not wanting to go into it. But Phil's on record numerous times saying that Xbox 2, we'll call it, okay, the next generation, is underway in some way, shape, or form. We saw multiple threads of software, electrical engineers, hardware specialists to come in, and that wasn't to make the Slim. That's not a hard thing to do. Okay, not when technology increases year by year. They get smaller, different heat sinks, yada, 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 etc. They shrink the box. When Phil got into place, he started hiring all these people to start working on the next, because he knew he only has 5-6 years. He doesn't have a 10-year lifespan to work on the next generation. So really getting back to what I said is hardware. As long as Microsoft continues to make hardware, the Xbox brand is not going anywhere. And for anyone that's concerned about the PC taking over, stop and ask yourself a question. How many PC gamers do you know in your life? I guarantee you that number is really small compared to console owners. And include PS4 in there too, because a person who has just a PS4 in their house is a console gamer. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not asking just Xbox. Yeah. So, you know, my idea, so what I'd like to say out of this before we go to our next guest is basically, you know, there is a positive side to this. I think Microsoft is just growing the brand. I think they're trying to make, you know, GM Motors, General Motors, they don't just make Cadillac. Okay, they make Chevy. They used to make Pontiac. They used to make Saturn. But they have a lot of different, you know, they have all kinds of different things in their portfolio. They've got Caddies, they got Chevys. It goes on and on and on. So my point is that you can buy an Escalade and someone else can buy a Suburban, but both of those purchases, the money goes to the mothership at General Motors. The same thing here. You buy Quantum Break on PC, Xbox Store, not Steam, or you buy Quantum Break Xbox One, both go to Microsoft. So they're just opening up, and then what they're doing is giving you the service of you can play it anywhere, whether it be on your console TV or on your PC, and save your progress. So I'm trying to look at it that way, and if you do look at it that way, we can actually make a real rosy picture out of it.
Oh, good point. A lot of good points in there. The fact that you brought up the fact that it's still under the same ecosystem. You know, I saw a lot of people saying it's going to PC, and you know, just saying PC sounds very misleading. It's only still available through the Xbox Store on the Xbox 10. So it's not like it's available on Steam or anything like that. So I don't really have and I made this analogy to Paul. I said it's like me going to McDonald's. Say, for instance, McDonald's went out and bought Dairy Queen, correct? So they went and bought Dairy Queen, and they decided, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna start selling Big Macs at Dairy Queen. I'm not gonna stop going to McDonald's because they're selling Big Macs at Dairy Queen. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it just it doesn't make any sense. That's just kind of my point. So let's go ahead and move on to Rand. What was your I know you've done 23 podcasts in 2 days. So
Yeah.
it's probably be a repeat answer. But go ahead.
No. I got something fresh for you.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed. And what I'm disappointed in is the fact that the Alan Wake they're giving us is not a remaster for me to get new achievements in.
Oh. Here we go.
That's the only thing I figured I'd do something different. So
Yeah.
I honestly, like, I don't
Those
care.
Chivos, man. Those
Yeah,
Chivos.
well, you know what? They must have changed their plans because there was that rumor Alan Wake remaster was coming. It was in a survey. Backwards compatibility happened. It killed my dreams. Another Alan Wake with achievements. It probably also killed Mass Effect, Jamie. You're not going to be able to get that Mass Effect remaster.
Just getting him all worked up.
I know. I'm expecting
going crazy.
I'm expecting a Twitter post right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, about Quantum Break, I'm perfectly happy about it. To me, PC doesn't exist to me, right? I will never ever game on PC. So to me, the choices are clear. It's either I'm gaming on an Xbox or I'm gaming on PlayStation. So the fact that Quantum Break is on PC and is a Windows 10 exclusive has no bearing to me at all because I'm only going to be playing on an Xbox. I mean, I could see why some people are upset. Like, if you are one of the few people who literally only bought the Xbox One for Quantum Break who have a capable PC of running it, okay, I can see the argument. Like, why did I buy an Xbox One to get it when I could get a PC? But it's like, hey, it's your money. Like, nobody forced you to buy the Xbox One. Like, you could have waited till, right until about Quantum Break came out. If that was truly what you wanted, why buy it even early? I'm happy because I think the game's going to sell a lot better now because I was kind of worried about Quantum Break in the same sense I was worried like with Alan Wake stuff. Like, Alan Wake sold fine, but it didn't sell well enough to get a sequel. And now, hopefully, with this move, Quantum Break sells enough where eventually down the road we can get a Quantum Break 2. Maybe we can even get an Alan Wake 2. I mean, since they're giving Alan Wake, the game as a pre-order bonus to pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Hopefully that leads to something in the future, because I love Remedy games. I want them to continue making games the way they only can make them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anybody should see this as a surprise. I mean, I know coming out 2 months before the game comes out is a surprise in itself. But, like, honestly, Phil laid out his vision for this whole thing 2 years ago. Like, that it was all going to be one unified service eventually. I mean, Windows 10 is important to Microsoft. PC gaming is important to Phil. He said it multiple times.
Yeah.
And people just assumed it was all lip service. Like, oh, he doesn't really mean it, right? Like, he didn't know these games aren't coming to PC. And here's Quantum Break, like, outside of Gears 4, their biggest exclusive of the year. And it's coming day and date. Because normally these games would be like 6 months or a year later or whatever. Mm-hmm. But now it's like day and date, and it's just like they care. I mean, they've shown that they care. I mean, whether or not for whatever reason they're doing it for, financial or whatever. It's like, hey, PC gamers, the game's on PC for you. If you don't want to buy an Xbox, this is essentially Microsoft saying, look, we know some of you aren't going to buy an Xbox One, and we're totally fine with that. But you could still give us your money, and here's the PC version, So spend the money on our store. Give us the money, and maybe you start liking stuff in the Windows 10 environment. Maybe you pick up Killer Instinct on the PC when it launches in a couple months. Maybe you buy ReCore when it comes out. It's all about like getting people used to that Windows 10 store environment, because it's not coming to Steam. And I did see the thread today on NeoGAF freaking out because Greenberg said it's not coming to Steam, and all those Steam fanboys are all upset. They got all their panties in a bunch right now. They're like, no Steam, I'm not buying it then.
Don't.
You weren't buying it.
Don't buy it. It's on PC. And they're all like, it's coming to Steam. It will. It's like, no, it's not. It's never coming to Steam. It's Microsoft's IP. They're using it to fucking promote the Windows 10 store. And that's, that's essentially what is happening.
Listen, fuck those guys. And fuck the 8 assholes that went and bought an Xbox One. They said that it's only for the Quantum Break. That's like, Blam, you were coming over my house, and I bought all this beer, and you showed up with a 24-pack, and I'm like, man, if I knew you were bringing that shit, I wouldn't have bought this. You're drinking it later, asshole. That's my point. All right. This guy, whoever bought an Xbox One for Quantum Break and they're pissed off because they had a high-end PC, go fuck yourself. You should have had an Xbox One a long time ago. There's a lot of great games on the system. There's a lot of great games coming. Plus, we're all overlooking something here. Again, now this is me speculating, okay? But realistically, if the Xbox One games are going to PC, everybody say it with me in harmony, the PC games will be coming to Xbox One. That's the whole beauty behind DX12. It works both ways, people. So all those corny games that personally I have absolutely no fucking obligation to buy in the future at all. But like all those PC games that you have all those assholes on YouTube being like, look what I just played on my PC. We can get those now on our Xbox One if you so desire. I don't. Some won't. Some will, but at least you're getting more choices. You're getting a lot more value for your money with Microsoft. We actually had that before this whole announcement was even made on Microsoft. Now we're getting even more. So what I was saying yesterday on a podcast, and I'll say it real quick here. By the way, when I say real quick, I mean 15 minutes.
I got the timer running, Mooch. Don't even worry about it.
You know, I mean, we're going to get all of the stuff that we get with Microsoft that we all know about. Sony is sitting there right now, sitting on their hands like a kid that didn't do his homework assignment and the teacher's about to go next to that kid. They can't compete. They're freaking out. They don't have what Microsoft has. Microsoft has another platform, PC. Sony doesn't. And people are running with these false news ads saying Sony's exclusives are saying only on Sony. No shit, asshole. They only have one platform. And they're like, well, why is Sony backing away from things like PS Now? Because the service sucks and it's too much money. So Sony would be doing the same thing if they had another platform. Sony's broke. Sony has a memo out on every desk and cubicle. It says, please shut the lights off before you leave. You know, I mean, come on. They're fucking broke. Microsoft has things going on right now. Very good things for the consumer. Now, again, I'm trying to be completely pro here. I'm trying to look at the bright side of it, you know, because these are the things that we should be seeing. When this 25th February event comes, my ears are totally perked, as should all of yours, because I want to hear things like what we just said. Xbox One users will start getting PC games. I would like to hear, and I'm not going to, by the way. This is my pipe dream. I'd like to hear that Xbox Live is free. That's not going to happen. I understand. It's not going to happen. But what they could say is playing online, multiplayer games is free, but if you want games with gold and other services, that would be $30 a year. So that way, basically what they're doing is they're going to go from $3 billion on Xbox Live a year to $1.5 billion. Yes, it's a little bit of a hit, but you also make great PR and you may grab some more customers. If people know that Xbox Live to play online, play all your Call of Duties and your Destinies and your Halos all online for free, that's a game changer. And it coincides with what Phil's saying. He wants no walls. He wants equality. If you want these things, then you do have to give the console folks something. Throw us a bone. You can't just say we're equal, but we're just going to give PC everything you guys had. Pay up. You know? So realistically, I would like to see something. Do I think we're going to get Xbox Live completely free? My God, no. What big league corporation would get rid of $3 billion? Not million, billion. $3 billion a year they make on Xbox Live. That's not going to happen. But they certainly could cut the price in half and just offer the games with gold and other features, other gold features like the deals we get, all the discounts, that all comes with gold. And then if you want what the silver will be completely what like PS Plus was for PS3 users. It'll be free to play online with your friends. So I mean, that's you know, of course I'm going on a rant there, but you know.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, good points. Good points. Just go ahead and get your opinion, GKB. What do you feel about the QB situation?
Quantum Break going to PC is not a big deal, but look, I have to agree with Tim Dog on Twitter. You know, saying the delivery of the news was, you know, kind of terrible. Microsoft's missed some steps in the past, you know, explaining things to us. That being said, it's not surprising news. Honestly, did anyone not see this coming? You know, this is what Microsoft's been telling us since, like what Rand said, since 2014. And, you know, Microsoft sees Quantum Break as their killer app, you know, much like Gears was for the 360. They want to make sure that it has every possibility to do well. Look at the value for your $60, right? if you pre-order the game on Xbox, you're getting the Xbox version, the PC version, and 2 Alan Wake back-and-pack games. I mean, that's awesome. And the real kicker, nobody's mentioned yet on this podcast is that, Microsoft played this news perfectly. What the media wasn't talking about was NPDs, and, they were talking about Quantum Break all day. So that was masterfully played by Microsoft.
Deliberate move, in my opinion, to schedule all this stuff on a day when they had their lowest numbers for NPDs in a long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good point. They pulled a Sony move there. That smoke screen cheese. Yep. So that was a good job. But yeah, let's go ahead and get Zasman's opinion on the QB situation.
Well, on this one, I mean, I am obviously the devil's advocate side of this. I personally was against the news, and it's not just Quantum Break. I mean, I'm not going to focus on Quantum Break because I don't think it's about that. I think it's about it as a whole. If we're getting like Scalebound, I mean, what was the other one? I mean, Fable Legends, all on PC. As somebody who's been on the fence for a while and invested a lot of money and spend all my time gaming, and I mean, I gotta say, I mean, I don't want to be one of those guys, but I do care about resolution at the end of it. I can get parts cheap. I can get all that stuff. And somebody who's been on the fence about going PC for a long time, it's getting close to the breaking point of that. If these consoles, take your pick of which one, because it seems like the only one who's not going to PC at this point is Nintendo, so maybe there's a purpose in buying a Wii U. If I can get Street Fighter V on PC, if I can get Quantum Break, Scalebound, all that good stuff on PC, I'm starting to wonder what is the point in me investing all this money, because I think I counted off, GKB, what did I settle on was the amount that I spent on both of my consoles with all my games. It was close to like $1,300, wasn't it?
Yeah,
something like that. And I mean, as a whole, I feel like the consoles are, almost being abandoned. I know they're not going to go anywhere, and I won't pretend to understand Microsoft's business moves whatsoever. I don't pay attention to that. Don't really care about that side of that. I know the rollout. I didn't like the way that it was announced. And I mean, I feel like a console is defined by its exclusives, and I understand the whole importance of this one ecosystem. But at the same time, something about this is not sitting right with me.
Zaz, can I just interject?
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's to you, because I do want to talk to you about it.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You do have to understand something, okay? And what you said is not wrong. Nothing you said is wrong. I just want to explain something to you, and tell me if you agree with me. You and I, and everyone in this podcast, and the 44 people watching, and everyone that watches all these other podcasts we show up on, are not the casual gamer.
Not at all.
Me and you, right? Me and you, we can go tomorrow, and we can go buy the brew your own beer kit, and we can start making a ton of beer in our basement. It's very simple. It's very cheap, okay? But I'd rather pay a little bit more and actually just go to the store and get the bottle already full of beer. Now, hear me out. You know to go get a 970 TX card with a Velcro strap and 2 fans on the end. Okay, you know that stuff exists. Okay, the casual gamer doesn't want to do that. They just don't. So when you say it's getting close for people like you, people like
me, yeah.
us. Not people like Jane Smith with 3 kids who keep nagging at her while she's driving down the street and she wants to pull over and scratch their eyes out because they're bothering her. Okay? She has no fucking idea what you're talking about. All she knows is, I got to go buy a box for $300. Hopefully this Christmas it drops down to $270, and a game my son won't stop talking about because his friends are kicking me in the shins talking about Halo 5. So what I'm saying to you is this. What you're saying in the concern doesn't exist. It really doesn't exist in the real world. Microsoft is looking at analytics from big-time money, big-time stocks, big-time investors. They're not talking about the few thousands like us that understand everything that's going on. And that doesn't mean that I'm putting us on any kind of pedestal. We just happen to be in the know. So what you have to understand is that when you say it's getting close, Microsoft doesn't care if you go build a PC tomorrow and you take your Xbox and throw it in the recycle bin. Because you just say yourself, I'll just go buy Street Fighter V, and I'll just buy Quantum Break from Microsoft. Does Microsoft really care where you buy it from when both stores are owned by them? No. So
let me reiterate, too. I mean, it is not, I'm not going to be pretending like it affects on any level, because I think me and GKB settled on this, it's not going to have anything in the long, which you didn't even post that video, did you? It's not going to have anything in the long run to actually do with Microsoft, and I am not going to pretend to understand the business side of it. If anything, yeah, they have tons and tons of analysts for this, but on my side of it, my personal feeling, and yeah, I mean, I'm not the casual cell phone Angry Birds gamer, this is all I do with my time. So from my side of things, I'm not happy with it for this reason, that I've invested so much into these consoles. Whereas, yeah, I mean, from the long run, I completely agree with you. It's not gonna really matter to any.
Let's get back. But Zaz, let's get back to you for a second. What you said you've invested. What have you lost? Nothing. You've been playing and having a good time. Which is all you would have done on your PC, except you've been hunched over a desk with carpal tunnel.
Well, I would say the only thing that I would say on that one is I got like my my $400 laptop, which was a complete waste of money. And then you got my Xbox, my PlayStation, everything like that. And I feel like the only thing I'm losing is, well, I would say, and it's terrible that it's one of my favorite games, but at the same time, I mean, I don't have a way to play like the Old Republic and like World of Warcraft well. When I feel like now that I'm getting all these games, I spent a lot of money on consoles when I'm a little limited.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, the thing is this: we're all not only are we in this world technologically, we know what's going on, we all read up on what's happening. But if you just even look at the live chat, you know, you've got a handful of just trolls in here. Okay, look at this knucklehead. 0.0 exclude. But hear me out. The reason is that these are the people that are provoking the anger and the angst in the Xbox community. You ever been to an argument where there's the guy who gets into a fight with another guy, and these guys really didn't even hate each other that are fighting, but it was one asshole in the corner that was actually the antagonist? These ponies and the trolls are the antagonists in the community, and then they make us all look crazy. What it is they say 0.0 exclusives, right? But if you happen to be a Microsoft fan, okay, an Xbox, whether you're PC and you're buying it through the Xbox store, you're still a Microsoft fan. PC guys don't like to admit that. You know, you're still buying Quantum Break in the Microsoft store. They're getting all the money just like you bought the disc for Xbox One. And when you go and do that, that is still an exclusive. People don't seem to understand that. It's not PC. I've been saying this for years, not because of this Quantum Break story that broke. It's not PC versus console. It's Xbox versus Sony. That's it. The PC world doesn't exist. It's just another piece of the pie. And it just so happens Microsoft can put their hand into that pie. So why wouldn't they? You know, so what I'm saying to you is you can feel that way, Zaz. And this is not an attack at you at all. I'm trying to make you feel better about what you've done the past few years with your purchasing. Is you should not feel like you messed up or you fucked up or you could have just bought a PC. Because, to be honest with you, you wouldn't be in the community that you're in. You wouldn't know these guys. Maybe you do. Maybe you live down the street from, you know, these guys. I don't know.
I know one of them personally.
Okay.
I won't say which one.
That's okay. But you know what I mean? Like that. But I mean, you gained so much from your $350 purchase. You know? And that's what I'm saying. You get a lot more out of this ecosystem. Whether they're on PC in the future or they're only Xbox, they're still only Microsoft. And it's the trolls that are causing the issue. You know, you see these Xbox guys get mad on these YouTube channels and everybody points the finger and tries to make us look crazy. We're not crazy. We're just pushed all day long on Twitter and the aggravation and the hate emails and the hate comments, and you're constantly fighting. So that's why you see a little bit more aggravation come up in people. And that's where all that comes from. I mean, you got everyone. No one ever wants to talk about the 800-pound gorilla. You know what I mean? And that's why people are getting a bad rap on the Xbox community. When really the people that were angry and the people that are getting blamed and people that are pointing the fingers, those people are actually the passionate people. You know, they actually give a shit. If they didn't care, they wouldn't make a video. They wouldn't say anything. They just hide, like everybody else, like all these trolls do. All these trolls in the live action, right, in the live chat, or the people that follow all of us on Twitter, they hide. They don't have YouTube channels. They don't come out and do videos. They don't have passion. They're cowards.
By the way, I don't want everybody to forget that I'm on this podcast too. By the way,
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry about that, BPK.
It's all right. Everybody in the chat, keep it civil. If you're gonna come in here with that BS, I'm gonna kick you out. It's plain and simple. I don't care if you talk about PlayStation. I don't care what you talk about. Do not attack anybody in this podcast. It's not what we're doing this for. Do not get in there and start trolling people. Listen, I don't bring that shit to my podcast, all right? I will kick you in a half a second, all right? Have fun. Talk about whatever you want to talk about, but don't start the trolling and all the back and forth and the bickering. I don't play that. So just giving everybody a heads up. So let's go ahead and let's
beware
go ahead and
PTK's banhammer. Strong.
Yeah,
Yes.
man.
Banhammer is forever. It's a life sentence.
It's good. It's good, man. I don't mind people, getting in there and having fun, do what they want to do, but just keep it civil, everybody. That's all I'm asking. So let's go ahead. I mean, that situation, we all feel differently on this topic, and if it ever announced again, we're probably all going to have to bring it up again and talk about it. So we've pretty much gone over that. So let's go ahead and move on to another subject here today. Let's get into some of these games and some of this positive stuff that's been going on. Well, not all of it's positive, but we're talking about games here. So another topic I want to go over that I have today is that we'll do some of the fact that Ubisoft just officially announced that Assassin's Creed was going to be taking a year off, and they get a gigantic clap from me. They should actually be receiving a gigantic clap from everybody in the chat. I think this is a great idea. I think they really need to take a break with that franchise. It's kind of running its course, being yearly. They're running out of ideas. Even though I heard Syndicate was actually a pretty damn good Assassin's Creed, it's just the fact that Unity was so bad when it came out that it left people with a lot of bad taste in their mouth. So they really need to take a break, go back to the drawing board, reconfigure the franchise, get it back on track, and come out with something awesome next year. So I am 100% for the fact that they're putting a hold on it. They do have some other games coming out, which will probably fill that slot. But Assassin's Creed is still a big franchise, still a huge multi-plat. So them going back to the drawing board, giving it a year off, is going to be really, really good for this game. So I want to get everybody's opinion around the board. We'll go ahead and start with yours, Rand, on the Ubisoft officially announcing no Assassin's Creed this year.
Good. That franchise needs a break. It really does. I mean, it's been nearly since what, 2007, 2008, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's good. I'm happy that it's taking a year off. They can revitalize the franchise next year with another. And next year, who knows? People might be clamoring for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It's smart. I think it's actually smart. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Like, Assassin's Creed's never. It's not like Call of Duty, where like the Call of Duty kids are like clamoring for a new Call of Duty every year. Like they want it, even though the sales are down on Call of Duty, but like people still like want that stuff. Nobody's really asking for a yearly Assassin's Creed anymore.
Yeah.
So it's great, and like I'm perfectly happy. I haven't played Syndicate yet. I have it. I am going to be playing it soon. I have heard it's actually pretty good. Because I mean, I will say I'm one of the people that think Unity was a pile of trash, like garbage, like. So, and I'm a big fan of the Assassin's Creed series too. Like Assassin's Creed 2 is still my favorite. I really liked Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I thought that game was really good. I even enjoyed Assassin's Creed 3. Like I thought Unity was almost as bad as Assassin's Creed 1. So, I'm happy it's taking a break. I would guess Watch Dogs 2 is taking its place this holiday season. They did announce that during the thing, so we know Watch Dogs 2 is coming. I would guess, because Ubisoft, they like to have their holiday game, and I would hazard to guess that Watch Dogs 2 will be their late October game this year. It may be more, it could be Ghost Recon, but I don't think that game's coming out this year.
Okay. All right, cool. So, Mooch, what's your opinion on Assassin's Creed taking a year off?
Well, coming from me, I'm not a Assassin's Creed fan. I've never really played any of them. I think I played 2 for a little while. I just found them, even people that love the best of them, it just seemed to me like it was always, like, all games are repetitive, but it was like, dive off of a large tower into some hay, walk really slow in a crowd, stab somebody, oop, they found me, jump back up on a roof, run really far till I was out of the thing, jump back up and dive into some hay. And I was like, I never really got the Assassin's Creed thing. And then the whole thing where you progress to a certain area, and then you come into the lab, and everyone's snickering and laughing at you while you're laying there, like, he doesn't even know. And then they're like, I'm like, what the? I have no fucking clue what you guys are laughing at. What happened? I thought I was just in medieval times. So, like, literally, the game to me, I've played none of them. So, but I do know this much. My ear's to the ground on the series. I know what's happening roughly. And I do have to agree with Rand. It's definitely due time. By the way, the folks at Call of Duty could take a year off too if they'd like.
Yeah.
Like 2, 3, 4 maybe.
They could actually take a few years off, yeah.
You know, like there's just no need for it. The problem is that they've started this money train, and stopping it is literally like just stopping a locomotive when it's going so fast. You know, there's too many parts in motion. So kudos for them for taking the year off, and I wish others would follow with these yearly releases.
All right, great. Good points, Mooch. You're right. You hit the nail on the head. They're gonna milk the shit out of that Call of Duty as long as they possibly can.
Yes, sir.
I don't think Activision's ever gonna take a year off, although I feel like they need to. So let's go ahead and move on. Paul, what's your opinion on them taking a year off, that break?
Yeah, sure. Look, we've talked about this on many a podcast that these annual series are just getting stale. Thankfully, Ubisoft is taking a break this year. It's not going to be a major game in 2016. Like Rand said, Unity was just bad and was torn apart by the media and the fans. But there was some light at the end of the tunnel here. Like, Syndicate, I think, was a step in the right direction. I haven't played it myself yet. It's in my backlog, but I've done a ton of research on this one. The year off is, a great way to solve like the franchise fatigue. Honestly, Ubisoft can, find where they want to take the series. Get us a concise story, and they also could take the time.
A new location, please, too.
Yeah.
Please, another location.
Well, that's kind of I was bittersweet about this Assassin's Creed because it's like in Egypt, and that's one of my favorite time periods. So I was kind of looking forward to it, but that's okay. Take the time off, and they can really innovate the gameplay and bring us something special next year, man. So, kudos to Ubisoft.
For sure. All right, Zasmine, what's your opinion on them taking that break, brother?
Well, yeah, I mean, Syndicate was good in the way that, like, a double cheeseburger from McDonald's is good because the last meal you had was, like, a big steaming plate of dog crap. And that's, I mean, it was, like, it was very medium on the whole thing. And me being, I mean, I am a really big Assassin's Creed fan. I was following it from the Game Informers from when it first came out. I was super hyped for it. I've played every point in the series, and
but it was better than Unity, right, Zaz?
Oh, well, again, yeah. I mean, Unity was the worst thing to ever happen. And I love the whole series. I don't even think they're doing it from like a sales level. I think they just want to push their movie more, and they don't want Assassin's Creed fatigue this year. And then I'm not expecting much from them next. I don't think they're going to retool the franchise, even though I love it. I think they're just going to do the same nonsense, and it's probably not going to end up being that good. And yeah, I heard it was the Egypt one, which was probably going to be pretty cool. But I mean, they're just pretty much shamelessly doing, I mean, just marketing this franchise over and over and over and over, rebranding. I mean, they just had the Chronicles come out. That's like the 2D side scroller.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and it's cool ideas, but we'll have to see how the movie goes because the games are so repetitive that it might be a better concept as a comic book, as like they actually have a comic book out already, as a movie maybe, because the concept is so good and the story is awesome inside of it, but their execution is really, really not that good. So I'm happy. I'm really happy. They can take 5 years off for all I care at this point. I want them to take off as much as they can to make it feel more like Black Flag. I mean, that everybody always says Black Flag, but I'll say that one. That one was good.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right. So it looks like we all share pretty much the same opinions that this is going to be a good thing for the franchise. Hopefully Zasmine's wrong and they actually do take a look and revamp the series and go back and not just do what they've already done.
Hopefully.
Hopefully they go back and revamp it, give it something new and fresh. Okay. All right, great topic, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here. So this has been another big thing that we've us Xbox guys, we talk on Xbox Live, and a lot of us here are friends, and we talk outside of the podcast and YouTube and different things like that, even outside of Twitter. And this is something that we've kind of been talking about, behind the scenes or so, the Titanfall 2 situation. So I know it was just recently announced. I know they talked about it a little bit that it's going to be available for every platform. So our hope of an Xbox exclusive is gone. I mean, I didn't really think that it was ever going to happen anyway due to the fact that EA owns it.
Mooch, are you still okay? Just talk if you're okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to let everybody else talk.
No, I mean, he said, like, whatever.
No, I got the joke. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so it's going to be a multi-plat, which is okay with me. I don't have any issue with that. There's going to be a single-player story. They're revamping the multiplayer, which is nice. I hope there's a lot more customization, a lot more game modes, a lot more weapons, a lot of different things you're going to be able to do. So I'm still excited about the game. It doesn't really put a dampener on my how I see the game and if I'm going to purchase it or not. But these gentlemen here may have a different opinion. So what do you guys think about the Titanfall 2 news that was recently dropped? So I'm going to go ahead and start with Mooch on this one. Go ahead, Mooch.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, Titanfall 2 is just that is the game.
I'm
of the
assuming
hour, right?
that's the I'm assuming yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's funny though. I gotta say something, PTK. You of all people, I'm shocked you said what you just said because you are a big fan of.
Yes.
You do a lot of research before you make a purchase.
Yeah.
Now, me and you are big fans of this game. Okay.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you I'm gonna go out and get that day one. I'm not saying I'm not gonna own it. I'm just saying I can't say I'm gonna go out day one because what we were used to playing is not what we're going to get the second time around. That doesn't mean we're not going to get cool.
We make it peer-to-peer.
Right.
Peer-to-peer service, things like that.
Peer-to-peer, no more cloud. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the grunts were. We did realize as the game progressed and updates came in, the grunts got harder and more difficult. That's going to all go away now. The game's going to drastically change if if it's not just Microsoft exclusive. And again, now that we're talking about this big honky-dory Windows, Xbox world that exists, why wouldn't Phil lock this thing down? It boggles my mind. It's a game destined to bring the two platforms, together.
It's EA Mooch. He'd have to give away half of his stock in Xbox.
I agree. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But you know what? Man, they're trying so hard to push this ecosystem. This is a great way to do it with a third-party game.
Right.
Because it's a carrot that the PlayStation 4 fans are dying to eat. They want that carrot so bad. They want that Titanfall too.
No, it's funny. I thought they used to call that game Titanfall. Now they are drooling for the game.
Oh yeah.
Wait, did they really want that game? And they were just saying that back in the day. I wonder.
Rand, the same shit happened with Rise. Okay, Son of Rome. That was a piece of shit. 5 out of 10, 5.5 out of 10.
What would you rather have, Rise 2 or Knack? Oh, which I did see Knack 2 might be happening.
Knack 2 might be happening.
PlayStation fans are.
I'd rather play Dear God 2. Listen, it's awful right now. This is what I'm saying. When anyone thinks I'm speaking and they're like, oh, there he goes again, just the fanboy. No, it's not fanboy shit, guys. Open your eyes. Okay, Rise comes out on Xbox One. It's shit. It goes to PC. How long do I got to stand in line to get a copy of that? Same thing here. Now, Jamie Moran, shout out to Jamie. He's a fan of this show as well. Jamie tweets out that they got an article out that says, what the hell is it here? I'm trying to look for it. Quantum Break could be Game of the Year. 2 weeks ago, Quantum Break headlined games that could fail on IGN.
Yep.
Right? You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is the bullshit I'm talking about. Like, now it's a PC game, and all of a sudden, not the game itself, but because you could pop the disc or digitally buy it at a desk instead of a couch, now it's Game of the Year material. Yeah. This is the crap that exists. Right, and now we're going to talk about it. Now everybody should have a show about it, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about the debacle that went down the past 2 days. I'm talking about just now. Quantum Break is now hot news. It's a game that must be had, must be played, and that's why I think GKB, PTK, myself, Rand, Zaz, everybody, BGST. That's why we BGST. That's why we did this shit in the beginning. No one's reading into this shit. Like, no one's looking in this. That's why Crap and Zaire exist. We all came out and we were like, is anybody else reading the black and white headline? It's bullshit. So getting back to the Titanfall discussion is just that I think that Titanfall should be something Phil is seriously looking to lock down. If he doesn't, I think Microsoft does have the marketing rights. I think they're going to lock that down. I think that'll help. Maybe they'll get map packs exclusively, but let's be honest, that's old news. That's something that's been going on. Nobody gives a shit about. Who the hell owns Black Ops 3 on Xbox One is feeling slighted because they didn't get the new map packs? They all look the same. Nobody gives a shit. So, I don't know. I guess, you know what, Blam? And don't get me wrong, that wasn't me picking on you. I just know that me and you love that game. Yeah. We love that game. And I can't tell you I'm going to be day one till I see how they restructure this without Microsoft's cloud and their dedicated servers.
That's fair enough. I mean, that's fair enough because you think that Microsoft pretty much bankrolled the game when it first came out.
Right.
Respawn went to both companies. They've stated it. They went to Sony. They went to Microsoft. Sony was not ready. They did not have everything Respawn required to make that game. If they wanted to make it, they just went ahead and game. Now, I'm not sure if they wanted to write the game exclusive. I don't think that was the case. I just don't think that they were ready and they didn't have the resources that Respawn needed to create the kind of game. So they went to Microsoft. Microsoft was able to make it happen. I do think that they do have something. I mean, because you're dealing with EA, you're going to deal with money. EA, nothing is exclusive for EA. Nothing is out of the realm for EA as far as being a multi-plat. They don't make exclusive games. So in saying that, I just think that, like, the situation is what it is. When you're dealing with EA, you're not going to get an exclusive game, especially if they own it, especially if they're the final say as far as making that change. So I think there may be something in place where Microsoft gets marketing rights. Who knows? I'd like to see that. I'd like to even see it on their stage this year at E3. So let's go ahead and move on and talk to Paul. What is your situation? How do you feel about the Titanfall 2 news?
So the writer Jesse Stern, he confirmed a couple of things for us too. He also confirmed there's going to be a spin-off TV show, which I'm pretty excited about. I mean, watching mechs on the TV destroying each other is pretty dope.
Yeah.
And they're looking into Lionsgate to help them do that. He already mentioned the campaign, and it's going to be widely available to everyone. My big thing is, it's cool. We already knew it was going to be a multi-plat, but I want Microsoft to go ahead and lock down the marketing rights and maybe the DLC, kind of like COD or something like that. I mean, that would make me pretty happy. And right before we started the show, I found something pretty interesting that maybe you guys might want to talk about too. Todd McFarlane Toys are making some action figures for the upcoming game, and that's pretty awesome because I love Todd McFarlane Toys. But here's the thing. He went on to mention in his little brief here that they'll be releasing, and I quote, "be releasing in conjunction with the highly anticipated launch of Titanfall 2, winter 2016." That was like an ad that he put out.
This year.
So.
Yeah, well, the thing with that is the toys obviously, because I saw that too, the toys have to come out before Christmas. Regardless, even if the game is coming out in March of next year. But then you have to look at EA's schedule for this year, because they're going to have a big game, right?
Right.
The question is, what is the big game? Is Battlefield 5 going to be ready? I doubt it. Is Mass Effect Andromeda, is that their big game? As much as I love Mass Effect, it's nowhere near the scale of the game they need. I kind of feel like Mass Effect is like a January or February game. There's a very real possibility that Titanfall 2 could be launching sometime in November this year.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, it just makes sense too. Like the toys, everything. It's kind of like Halo. They want to launch everything at the same time to maximize their profits. So.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right. I mean, I know. I've always kind of thought they'd launch it in a 3-year anniversary of the game, like March 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if you go up against, if you come out in November, you're launching against Call of Duty. Now it's like a direct, competition between the two. And to be fair, even though Call of Duty is on the decline and Titanfall is this new upstart franchise, I think Call of Duty, regardless of the quality of either title, Titanfall 2 could be amazing and Call of Duty could be a pile of garbage. Call of Duty is still going to outsell it by a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I don't think there's any question. I think it has that rabid fan base. Like you said, people still going to buy it. We know the numbers are declining, but people still thirst for that game every year. There's still millions of people day one to go out and purchase it. So I don't really think that's a great idea, directly putting it in line with Call of Duty. But maybe a little bit later, a few weeks later, will be fine.
Yeah. I think if they have a couple weeks apart, maybe in December or something.
Big games don't get launched in December. It's like, I mean, you would think Microsoft or Square Enix would have moved Tomb Raider to December if that was the case. They want those Black Friday sales and those November sales. I don't know why. You're right. I mean, I don't know why more companies don't do in December. I mean, that's how essentially Far Cry 3 became such a gigantic hit.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about like where Far Cry was before Far Cry 3, right? A decently big franchise, but not great, right? Far Cry 1 was a PC franchise. It sold decently. Far Cry 2 comes out. Far Cry 2 is kind of like a cult hit, right? I mean, it sold okay, but most people didn't like it for the mechanics that the game had. And then Far Cry 3 comes out kind of like in December by itself, and like, oh my god, like now it's a huge monstrous franchise. Now it can compete with the likes of, well, obviously you really can't compete with Call of Duty, but you know, like the tier underneath Call of Duty, it sells extremely well. I always thought that was because of the timing of the release of the game, because sometimes, you know, you need a little luck. And you gotta obviously be good, but then timing's important. I think that's what this whole gen has almost taught us. Timing is important. Like when a game comes out is almost as important as the game itself.
Yeah, definitely. Good point. Good point. All right, so Zasma, let's get your opinion on this Titanfall 2 news, brother.
Well, I read the article on the storylines, whole like what's behind it, and of course, being the captain of Zaz, I heard that it is going to combine like science and magic, so I'm hyped because I'm going to run around like a Battlestar Harry Potter up in that game. And you know what? That was the one big thing that Titanfall, the original, was missing. I mean, I'm the biggest story-based person that you'd find. That being said, I mean, I know it's going up against EA, like in their massive amounts of money, but I do think it was kind of dumb for Microsoft not to lock it down. Having my PS4 a year before my Xbox One, that was the only game that I was really, really like wanting an Xbox for. I mean, that and obviously Zoo Tycoon, that killer app. That was the only game that was really like super, super appealing, at least at launch. And I mean, you know, it's going to feel weird seeing it on multiplats, but like, and in terms of release too, yeah, they're not going to put it up against Call of Duty. They're probably going to use Battlefield 5 for that. But this would make a perfect March game. If I had this just peppered in between, like have it right in March, I'd be more than happy. It's got action figures.
Who do you think is DICE making Battlefield 5? That's the thing I don't understand. I don't know who's making that game.
I don't think Visceral's going to do it again.
No, they're not. They're on Amy Hennig's Star Wars game.
Star Wars game, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When people say Battlefield 5, I always look at like, okay, well, DICE just put out Battlefront this year, or a couple months ago. I'm like, they obviously aren't making Battlefield 5, right? And like Visceral's making us. I'm like, who's making Battlefield 5 to be it coming out this year already? Like I'm.
You know, it's weird to me. I mean, because it feels like the rollout of the Battlefront DLC and all the patches for Battlefront is so slow that I feel like they have. I mean, I don't know if they've split their teams up and they have a small team still like helping Battlefront along while they're doing Battlefield 5. Because I know for sure that Battlefield 5 like is confirmed.
Oh yeah, they confirmed it.
But I mean, and it's like. I don't know. I mean, because, yeah, for Visceral, I mean, we don't need another Battlefield from them, and it won't feel the same if it's not a DICE
there's
game.
no way the DICE team that just did Battlefront is turning around a Battlefield 5 game in a year.
That's way too quick.
So, I mean, you could be right. They could have split teams up, and maybe the Battlefield 4 team that didn't go on to make Battlefront has been working on Battlefield 5.
Yeah, that sounds like about right.
Which, in honesty, too, it feels like, I mean, I hope they hired on more instead of splitting their teams, because right now, I like Battlefront still, but it feels like it is not getting at all the attention that usually comes along with a Star Wars game. Like, and I don't know why that is. I mean, that's just to me keeping up with all the news on Battlefront. I'm feeling like they aren't putting much effort into keeping this game going, which
the game's based on its name for the most part. The game, if you take it as if you took Star Wars off of it, it'd be a pretty fucking hollow game.
Oh, it would be.
It's pretty stale. The experience is very redundant. The game's beautiful. We all say that. I know I'm stealing Mooch's lines here. The game's beautiful, but you still got to play it, people. You know, after about 5 hours, 3 or 4 hours, you've pretty much done everything that you possibly can do in that game.
It's a very casual experience, too. There's really nothing there for the hardcore
Yeah.
like that would want to keep on playing it. It's like you play for 10 hours and it's like I've experienced everything in this game and there's really nothing to go for anymore.
Well, I
It's
can't
half
believe
the
what I'm
other
saying
issue
is
on
it
that.
actually makes Call of Duty. It makes Call of Duty look deep.
Yeah,
Like-
well, people give all right, so people give Call of Duty shit, and okay, it's not for me, right? Call of Duty's never really been for me. I've played them all except for this last one, but the value you get with Call of Duty is almost unparalleled now in the gaming industry today. Like now, most companies are multiplayer only, and that's it. When Call of Duty's still giving you
Campaign, zombies.
fucking co-op
Zombies.
campaign, zombies, co-op zombies, multiplayer, and then they even have the other zombie campaign after you beat. There's unparalleled value in there that's not present in those other games, and that may be because they know it's going to sell fucking 20 million, 30 million copies where those other games aren't. But like, because the one thing that was wrong with Titanfall, in my opinion, which I'm glad it's being rectified, is the campaign. I want a campaign from the makers of Call of Duty, the ones who originated it. Like,
Rand,
you know?
do you want to hear? Can we rewind that? Can we play that back? Can we play back Rand's words for him? Somebody. Do you really want to play a campaign of Call of Duty?
Yes.
Dude,
From
it's
the
Black
people,
Ops
wait,
1.
Fred, from the
Yeah.
people that made fucking Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, yes. With fucking mechs, you're goddamn right I do.
I'm in agreement with that actually too. Their story used to be very deep. I thought Black Ops 1 was one of like the coolest stories I've seen. But again, I'm saving that for a Call of Duty show because I will spend an hour and a half on Call of
Black
Duty.
Ops 3's story was horrendous. I hated
I'm not a
it.
fan of Treyarch. I've never been a fan of Treyarch. They've always been the second tier.
I'm a fan of Treyarch, honestly. So I'm a fan of their. I prefer the way they do the multiplayer. I'm not a fan of this particular Black Ops 3. Call of Duty, the Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 were easily, in my opinion, the best multiplayer experience for me, at least. Probably right along with like MW2 and COD 4, the first Modern Warfare. So in that order, probably. But
Here's a question for you guys. With the new Titanfall game, do you think they're going to be using the Frostbite engine or still a Source?
That's a good question.
I think
I don't think they've said yet, right? I would assume
yeah,
so.
they haven't said. I don't think they've said. I'm not
they're
even.
gonna upgrade it.
I just figured
Yeah.
like EA's pushing, Frostbite on everything. So
Yeah.
I mean, does it work for that kind of game though? I mean, I don't know. I mean, as fluid as that game runs, I don't really think.
Well, it's like Mooch mentioned earlier. How much is Titanfall going to change? Let's assume they can't use Azure, right? So they can't offload the data computations to the cloud to run the grunts.
Mhm.
How much does that affect the performance? Are we even having grunts in the next game?
Right.
Is it going to be
That's a
completely
lot of-
different? Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
questions up in the air about Titanfall 2. But at least the one question for me has been answered. There's a campaign. Because you guys, I'm not that much of a fucking multiplayer kind of guy.
Mhm.
I'm a single player kind of dude or a co-op campaign kind of guy. And I did really like Titanfall, don't get me wrong. But it's the same thing. I do like Star Wars Battlefront. I do like Rainbow Six Siege a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I'm getting gypped. I feel like I'm paying full price for half a product. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like these games, like, if I'm paying for Star Wars Battlefront, I feel like that game should be $30. Like, where's the other half of the game? Because I'm old enough, and I'm sure most of us here are, whereas, like, I've expected a single-player campaign with all my games I've ever fucking played. You know what I mean? And for this to be like gone is like it's a terrible trend in my opinion. Obviously, in my opinion, like I don't really like this whole multiplayer only stuff.
I don't like that, and I don't like the episodic crap that Hitman's doing or anything like that either.
Yeah. That bothers me even more.
That's even worse, honestly.
Like,
that's even
that is
more
worse.
sleazy, honestly. So
Yeah.
okay, all right, good topic, guys. So I got kind of have a 2-in-1 topic here that I wanted to go over too. And I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap it up with this one. But there are two things that happened recently too. We had there were layoffs at the developers that are making Gigantic. They had some layoffs, massive layoffs, and GameTrailers.com also had layoffs and they closed down. So I just want to talk about just the landscape of gaming, and we've seen more so this generation than any time previously. Studios laying off people, studios restructuring, studios going different directions, studios splitting up. So I kind of want to ask you guys. I mean, these are two different situations, but we've seen this quite often. in the video game industry. Do you guys think that there's going to be more of this to come with the way video games are going, with the way the industry is going, or do you guys kind of think it's still like once in a every now and again type situation? So I want to go ahead and start with we'll start with Zasmo on this one. Do you think this is going to be a reoccurring since we've seen it so much this generation?
I mean, I think so. With the more litigious people get, and the more these big businesses start to act different ways. Because what have we seen so far? Okay, well, the ones that you just mentioned, and then we have the Destiny lead story writer leaving. I mean, you have how many times did Bungie separate and do all their different stuff? Amy Hennig leaving to do her Star Wars game, which is also bittersweet because Star Wars, but Uncharted 4 is not going to be the same. And then Hideo Kojima. I mean, I just think it's going to be the nature of the beast now. I don't think anything is going to start to get better from where we are. It's only going to just start to get worse. I'm not going to pretend to know the business side again, but it happens, and I'm just expecting it from now on.
Okay. All right. Good. So what do you think, Paul?
Well, first off, man, I hate to see anybody lose their jobs, right? Definitely. That just sucks, right? But, I think, gamers are voting with their clicks, and guess what? They're not clicking on these big sites anymore. I think this trend's going to continue. I think, you're going to see more and more of some of these big sites, shutting down. And, gamers are finding unbiased YouTubers and sites like, ICXM to sub and follow. I think they're tired of the mainstream media gaming agendas. And I have to say this, on TXR, you guys had Ryan McCaffrey. Big shout out to the TXR guys and Ryan McCaffrey. Yeah. I found, some new respect for Ryan. He went on there and he was upfront and honest about the gaming media, and he was like, look, what we do is not journalism. It's enthusiast media, kind of like Entertainment Weekly. It's very refreshing to see that kind of stuff. And a lot of other publications probably wouldn't have done that. So, my respect goes out to Ryan for that. As far as gigantic, man, that just sucks. I really want Microsoft to come in and help these guys out, get that game made. That game looks fantastic. I love the art style. I love that kind of MOBA type stuff. So, come on, Microsoft, get it done.
All right, for sure. All right,
lock it up, Microsoft. Lock it up.
Lock it up.
What do you think about that, Mooch? You've been over there quiet. What do you think about the layoffs, and you see this as kind of an ongoing trend this generation? How do you feel about that?
Mooch is thinking about Titanfall 2 being debuted on Sony's stage right now.
Stop it, Rand. Stop.
That's what he's thinking about.
Is he there? Let's see.
I think he's on mute.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
No, I literally, it's funny though. I think that, like you said, it's kind of a two-in-one question. You know what I mean, PTK? Yeah, there are a lot of closings. Yeah, there's been some layoffs, but there's been, new studios formed. There's new games coming out. There's what we talked about. I can't remember which show we were on when we talked about it, but we talked about basically a lot of the indie folks that their companies don't necessarily get picked up. We can use Undead Labs, okay, for example. They got picked up by Microsoft. They were just an independent developer. So what do I think of it? It's kind of like Darwin, right? It's like the best will survive. If you suck, you suck. Kojima, to be honest with you, good riddance. Good luck with your new thing. I don't think he's going to do much. Same thing happened with Cliffy B. These guys, they had, and this is nothing bad. This is not bad. This is not a rip or a ridicule. These guys made their money. These guys made something fantastic. They went down in gaming history. Okay, Metal Gear Solid will forever be known and will forever be cherished. Gears of War will forever be cherished. But then these guys leave that. They don't, they either don't want to make it or can't make it anymore for whatever the reason may be. And then they go and do something else, and it doesn't work. And the same thing happens in Hollywood. There's 5 people in Hollywood that were able to go from a sitcom in the 80s to big movie star. For example, Will Smith, okay? He went from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to Independence Day to Hitch, and it keeps growing and growing. But the majority of people that had a hit sitcom in the 80s that went and make movies, they're all all the people we see on VH1 reality shows now that have drug problems. So, I mean, my point being is that you have these people that years and years and years ago, they were making these games, and they were so famous, and they did so well, and yes, they should be remembered for that, because what they did in that era was amazing, but a lot of these people really don't deserve to keep on making it. Listen, it's the same thing, like, my wife came home the other day, she's like, did you know that there's going to be another Harry Potter book out? And I'm like, oh, this is going to suck. Like, how many times is this lady going to go to Starbucks and write a book? You know what I mean? Like, she's going to run out of fucking Schwargendorfs and Nurgleflorfs to come up with in the goddamn book. How many consonants can you put in a row to put up for an enemy? Like, my whole point is that you run out of shit after a while. You run out of material. And I don't know. I guess in the long run, I'm with you, GKB. I don't want anyone to lose a job, okay? We all have families to provide for. But at the same time, they're in the world of making art. Okay, they're making an art form, and if you know anybody that lives in a pottery district in New York City or the art district, the art gallery district, go talk to. There's a term called starving artists.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes they make it big, right, and they get like these $100,000s for these paintings that go up, and then it takes years, or maybe never again, where they ever get anything that the Smithsonian or anyone gives a shit about. So. The same thing happens in gaming, and the good news, though, PTK, this is not all boo, hoo. The good news is, the Konamis, the Kojimi-sans, these other guys, the Cliffy B's, and these guys, they're gone, and guess what? There's a whole new crop of great, ingenuitive people coming up the food chain that are going to be the new those folks. And they're just, look at Cliffy B, he's all over Twitter, and he's this, he's got his collar popped up, and he's dating a girl that loves him for his money, and that's cool, or married, that's cool, but like he's a has-been, he is what it is. That Lawbreakers isn't going to do anything. It's not. When you go back and watch Cliffy B back in the 2000s when he was launching Gears of War, he had a huge party in Times Square hosted by Microsoft and etc. He did a huge thing for Lawbreakers. He had folding chairs and picnic tables at his office in Santa Barbara. Listen, it's over. You know what I mean? Like, but that's okay. Now we've got great people like Vince Zampella coming up the food chain, and whoever worked under Vince Zampella in 15 years is going to have an amazing game. You know what I mean? So. The realistic thing is, the good thing for us, the consumers, there's amazing, great engineers and software engineers and artists working hard that are maybe even just coming out of college that we don't even know about, that are going to take the places of these companies and these developers. So
you're looking at it like a revolving door type situation.
Absolutely.
Somebody goes out, another person comes in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And here's the positive side. Listen, I bust Cliffy B's balls and I bust Kojima's balls, but they got millions of dollars. They're fine. I can bust them all day. They're going to eat tomorrow. Don't feel bad for them. Don't feel bad for them.
All right. Did I get your opinion on this, Rand, already?
No.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
Well, I don't know. I think this goes just how expensive games are to make these days.
Yeah.
Like you make one game and you have a problem. Like you may never make another game. Like Gigantic is an ambitious game. It is a MOBA. But it's different. I played it in the beta. It's cool. Not for me, but it seems like they're having problems meeting their milestones. And unfortunately, look, if I am contracted to wire a house and I have so many days to do that, but then that deadline passes, am I still expected to get paid for my work that I didn't do yet? Would I be upset if that person then hired another electrical contractor to finish that work? Of course not. I mean, in real-life situations, if you do a job and you don't finish that job or the job's not up to snuff, you're going to get fired or they're going to find somebody else to replace you, right?
Well, do we know if that's what happened, or this is kind of speculation type?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Oh, okay. Well, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
No, but what I'm saying is, let's just say I've heard some things in passing, but
you can make an assumption that's a reason also too, even if you didn't know anything. So,
no, but they were having problems with the game. Either way, but so maybe Microsoft doesn't want to fund the game anymore because of the problems they're having. I mean, look at the Phantom Dust stuff. I mean, Microsoft.
Yeah.
If things aren't working, hey, that studio that was making Phantom Dust, they had to go down because apparently Microsoft didn't like the vision of that game. Now, I guess looking at it now, Microsoft supposedly has hired a bigger developer to make a bigger and better version of Phantom Dust. But shit happens, right? I mean, Mooch, in your job, if you don't do the job that you're required to do, like, you're going to lose your job, right?
Well, yeah, you know, there's steps to it. You'll get demoted first, and you'll lose it. But I mean,
exactly. I mean, I don't like want to say like sound like an asshole or anything like that. Like, I don't like it when people lose their jobs. But I think in the situation of Gigantic, I think it's because they haven't been able to deliver the product that they said they were going to deliver by the time they were supposed to deliver it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft and these companies only really pay like when you reach the milestones. And if you're constantly slipping milestones, eventually they're going to be like, you know what? We don't need it anymore. And sorry.
Here's the good thing, Rand, okay, is that when we see Phil step in and he does make those decisions where he's like, okay, like you just said, you didn't meet the milestone. All right, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. We know as consumers that when a Microsoft product comes out, we can feel pretty good about paying that $60, right? Because I mean, if they're striving for excellence, then that's what you get. Like, you look at Toyota, okay? Now, recently Toyota has had some bad luck, but let's not look over the past 15 years. They were number one in the most wanted car purchase because the car just never failed or broke down, right? But a lot of heads rolled in Toyota in Toyota management, to get that kind of perfection. So that's the same thing here. Phil's going studio to studio, and the media. You know, we're in this really, really awful politically correct bullshit era that we're all in, like, oh, I feel really, don't get me wrong, I said it too. You know, I feel bad and want them to lose their job. Well, you know what? Rand just said it. He said it without saying it as crude as I am, but he said basically, you don't do your job, you're fired. Okay? That's the way it is, guys. You know, we don't want to see anybody lose their job, but if you don't do your job, you're gone. And that goes for any one of us on Monday morning, right? We all know. That's why we get up to the alarm clock and we go to bed to the alarm clock. You know, that's the way it is. So, look, the good news out of all this is don't listen to the media or the headlines. We're like, oh, Phil shut down another 500 people can't eat. Shut the fuck up, dude. Here's the deal. You know, they got to pay these people. This money's got to come out of somewhere. Nothing's free in life. Nothing is free. So, and the good news is now when I see other games come out with a Microsoft Studios logo on it, I'm going to feel pretty good that Phil's giving this thing a thumbs up. He's not letting something walk. He'll never, ever, and if he proves me wrong, he'll never let another Master Chief Collection issue happen ever again on his watch. I promise.
Yeah, I think Phil, low key, and a lot of people don't realize this, is that it's business at the end of the day. I think people take Phil for like some kind of a chump or something. Like he still doesn't put his foot down when he needs to. Phil is a nice guy. We all know he's a people person. He's a gamer first before anything else, but even before being exec or CEO that he is. He puts that first, and he holds that there like a shield. But Phil's done some pretty damn gangster things this generation. Like,
yes, sir.
People don't give him a lot of credit for making those tough CEO type decisions. When he came in like Obama, or who came in after Bush? I want to say Obama, right? Obama was after Bush.
Obama
he came in.
Bush,
he had to clean up a lot of things that were going on. He came into a messy house.
Get rid of that Connect. It's an albatross. Move it. Yeah. Sorry, all those developers that were promised, you know, that the Connect was going to be there. We're fucking getting rid of this thing. Oh, you know, fucking sorry, you know. I know it, but the game trailers thing is a little different though. Like
that's
it's not the same as a game development studio. The game trailers thing was out of nowhere. Like it was just like, hey, and that was one of the bigger video game websites out there. I mean, maybe not as big as it used to be, because their whole kind of thing was taken by YouTube. Like that was the place I used to go for video game trailers. And then YouTube came along, and then it was like, well, game trailers had a tradition. But I've heard rumors, you know, things on people saying like, why did they shut down? And they were saying like, it's because of ad block. You know, because those sites are like, hey, we get revenue from, you know, ads that we run on our sites, and if everybody, and a lot of people use ad block, you know, a lot of, you know, and that's it's kind of a tough situation. I don't know like where I stand. I have ad block on my computer. I have sites that I visit regularly whitelisted. Like I don't have it running on YouTube because I like to support the creators. I don't have it running on websites that I like, but I do have it running on websites I don't really care about. And that's just, you know, and if I like your content, I'll run the ads for you. I'll let it run, you know. But I mean, I think I'm not like that. I think most people who have ad block use it entirely on everything.
Entirely on everything, yeah, for the most part.
But I mean, that's a tough situation because, you know, down the road, is IGN gonna go fold because of this? Is
Well, it depends, man. If more of what Ryan McCaffrey went on the road to preach and say that they're more of a TMZ and not a journalism thing, then guess what? They may survive. I don't mind tuning in if you clearly tell me that you're the TMZ of gaming. That's fine. I don't give a shit. You can have a bunch of fucking Mitch Dyers and Destin Legarys running around in the bushes taking pictures of Phil fucking getting out of the car, walking into Xbox Studios with other developers and this and that. Like, oh, look what we found out today. What did you find out? I saw Phil having a cup of coffee with lead developer from EA. Like that's fine. You want to be those people? I'll tune in. But if you're gonna tell me, hi, Damon Hatfield here, reporting the news. Today, Sony's great. News is over. All right, well, what the fuck just happened? Wait, what?
And what's up next? Oh, by the way, Sony's amazing. Now we'll throw it to the next person.
Yeah. Last week, Quantum Break, game or flop? This week, Quantum Break, game of the year. I bought 3 versions. So it's like, it's bullshit. So it depends on what they want to do. Game trailers, again, you sound, unpolitically correct here, but good riddance. Okay, because let's be honest, guys. Let's say instead of this podcast, the 5 of us decided we should start something called like a game trailers. The game trailers didn't exist. And we go on there, and all of a sudden we start spitting our opinions and Mooch's moments and Rand's gaming, this and that, and we go on and on and on and on. Guess what? If no one's tuning in, they don't like us, and we're full of shit, we're not going to make any money. We're out. And that's what happened to these guys. Jamie Moran, if you're listening, please tweet out that picture from Game Trailers. He has a great GIF / meme of the 4 people, the main 4 voices of that channel. They were doing an E3, Sony's E3, and he's got the 5-second clip of when Shenmue 3 was announced. And if Jamie's listening and he retweets that in the next few minutes, you guys will all just start laughing when you see it on your timeline. Listen, it's hysterical. They say that, and they all jump out of their chairs. They start fainting. One guy almost falls on the floor. The girl eats a pencil. Like, it's crazy what happens in this 4 seconds. And that's Microsoft's the one that stole the show this year. Sony just threw a bunch of has-been shit on the screen. Nothing really big. And that's what happens when these companies went into fanboy mode. And that's all they are. They're just TMZs for games, and that's fine. If you want to come out that way, that's fine. But they were hiding under this journalism clout. So, Rand, you're right. I think that if IGN will switch gears, or anybody, not just IGN, if they'll switch gears and tell us that they're here just for entertainment, well, then that's different. Everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
Yeah, that creates a whole new dynamic. So then everybody know where they're coming from, so they're not trying to pass off as like 100% journalism. We all know it's full of shit. So good point, Mooch. Okay, cool. Let's see if we have any questions, everybody. Everybody in the chat, you want to go ahead and give us like 1 or 2 questions? I think that's all we have enough time for. It's probably going to be like 2 questions. So anybody that has a question, go ahead and throw it in the chat right now. We'll go ahead and try and answer the questions. Please, no troll questions, because I'll skip right over them shits. Legitimate questions. So let's see here. Let's see what we have in here. So yeah, you guys right now, go ahead and throw your questions in the chat if you want something answered or our opinion on it. Okay, well, I got a guy here named PlayStation Inquisition. He just wanted our thoughts on Doom. He said thoughts on Doom. Shout out PlayStation Inquisition also too. I don't know. I'm probably gonna throw this to somebody who's actually played. I didn't get a chance to play the beta or the alpha that they had, so I never got a chance to play it. Who I'm pretty sure you played it, right, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed the beta, man. It reminded me of the old Doom. It was fast. It was all chaos, so it was fantastic. I like that new, like, you turn into that monster thing, the demon or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool and interesting. It was always like a fight to get that. That was a lot of fun. The graphics look amazing. Some of the kill animations, like the assassinations, was so awesome. So I had a lot of fun, man. I'm excited for it.
All right, anybody else here on the panel played the Doom beta or alpha?
I have not played it.
No,
I have
I
not.
did not play it.
Okay, I didn't get a chance. Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it because it's Doom, and I played it when I was probably in 6th grade on my buddy's.
I played it too, man. I played.
Yeah.
I remember getting like Doom and then Doom 2. I even played Doom 3 on the Xbox.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's a throwback game. I'm excited for it, but I'm cautiously excited for it.
Same here. I want to see more. I haven't gotten a chance. I didn't get into that alpha or whatever that was. I believe it's either alpha or closed beta. But I didn't get a chance to play it. But from everything I've heard from people that have, it seems to be pretty good. I mean, it's not too hard. All they really need to do is, upgrade the graphics, give it something new with the gameplay. That map editor is kind of
that's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. The whole map editor reminds me of Time Splitters, with the whole map editor and everything. So I'm very interested in that. Anybody else got any questions in here? I think we got time for one more before we got to get out of here. Let's see. You see anything in there, Paul? Any questions in there?
No, that's what I was looking for, man. See.
Yeah. Any questions, anybody?
There's one there from George.
You can go ahead and read it off, Rand.
It says, do you think Kojima was fired because he wouldn't let Konami use his brand new Fox engine on their other games?
I'm
going to say no.
I'm going to say no also. I'm going to say no to that.
There was a lot of other stuff going on there.
Yeah, apparently that was really expensive. Metal Gear Solid 5 was really expensive. And he just didn't give a shit about, he just was, pumping up the budget.
Yeah, that's Kojima for you. That's his style. Sons of Liberty was also incredibly expensive on PS3 or Guns of Liberty, whatever it was.
Guns of the Patriots.
Guns of the Patriots was incredibly expensive.
I played. I mean, that's how Kojima is, and that's half of his downfall, but then half of what makes him so great. Yeah, we got to wait a really, really long time for these games. But when they came out, I loved Metal Gear Solid 4. This story's really hard to follow because it's so in depth, but Metal Gear Solid 5 was really lacking, and you could tell that there's a lot more that he wanted to do. That they were like, no, it's time to get this game out. You're just gonna have to do it. And I think that was half of the issue that arose with him is that he's kind of a psychotic artist and will bleed for his art form. And at the end of the day, Konami is a business. And you know what? I can see both sides of it. I wouldn't want to put up with that if he was like, I need all this money and it's gonna finally be good. But now I'm not getting
3 years in, 4 years.
Yeah, and it's kind of he does make great games when he's allotted all this room. But after all these years, I'm sure Konami is really sick of it. I can understand both sides of the spectrum on that one, and that's why I think he was fired. In honesty.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was a lot of other things going on. That was just one of the many things. You ever heard of that saying, "The straw that broke the camel's back"? I definitely thought it was one of those situations that he's a rock star. He does everything like a rock star, and he knows it. So he'll take as long as he feels like he needs to with the game, regardless of deadline. He'll request as much money as he possibly think he's gonna need, regardless of a deadline. So it's just typical Kojima. I can definitely see him doing something like that. But he has an argument too. Because they didn't treat him that well. The whole situation, the way it broke up, and how they wouldn't let him go to the Game Awards or get any kind of recognition when it came to the game. Winning any type of awards or anything like that was kind of shitty. But yeah, I think it was a lot of tit for tat going on both sides. Anybody want to get their last opinions on that, or you good?
No, you guys have covered it all.
I'm good.
I got a question. I got a question for you guys. If you want to answer real fast. So, you guys are big Destiny players. What did you think about it being officially delayed till next year, or the sequel?
I'm fine with that. I don't know. I don't know what Destiny's going to become. Probably just barren wasteland. But I think that actually is really, really good news for the division. Because you don't have that. Because people. I think I'm not sure if it's confirmed or not. But since they said it's being pushed, aren't they trying to push for some kind of another big DLC?
Well, they said so. There's going to be an update in the spring with a significant light increase, and then an expansion in the fall, probably.
Okay, so there'll still be an expansion.
And then Destiny 2 sometime in 2017.
Well, here's a question though: Is that content Destiny 2 content that they have already worked on? They're just putting in it.
Yes, of course it is.
It probably is more than likely.
So. I'm fine with it, man. I'm gonna be playing Division, honestly. I haven't played Destiny in a while, so.
Yeah, coming from, I will say that. I think everybody here who has played Destiny that likes it would say this, and I think that's what GKB just said. I'm excited to dive head first, and play hours and hours of Countless Division. Oh, yeah. So the only time I'm taking a break from Division is going to be Quantum Break. So to be honest with you, this is a shit, man. Whether they planned this or they didn't, sometimes life has a way of making everything work out. This really works out because now you can put that game down with zero guilt, and who cares? Even if they up the light level in the spring, who gives a shit? We'll have all summer to play that. So you know what I mean? Like in the summer, you can go back and get your light level up when you're like, oh shit, that's right, we can go back and play Destiny. And then when the fall comes and they have something that's probably like as big as the Wolves, Wolves DLC was, then you'll be able to hop into that, and that'll be a nice little break from the Division. It's fine. I think it all will work out. So coming from where I'm at, like I'm actually gonna hop on and play a little Destiny tonight, I think. But
yeah, a little bit.
Why not?
You guys said something about that ghost, man.
That ghost. Yeah, I'm all in too. So,
all right.
Well, hey, real quick, Jamie posted that GIF, Mooch.
Oh, did he post it?
Oh my God,
I have to take a look at that.
Take a look at it for a second because it's.
They're like jumping around like crazy.
This is when Shenmue. Was announced. Thank you, Jamie, for doing this. Look at this. You're telling me that they don't have a little bit maybe favoritism for Sony? No? Look at this guy on the right. This
They're like hugging it.
What's that guy's name again? Andrew oh God. The Bossman.
The Final Bossman, yeah.
Final Bossman. He has the least talent on YouTube. I've seen a guy have a sock puppet channel that has more talent than that guy. And this is why they're out of business. You chose to take sides when realistically the reason NBC, ABC, and CBS all have a nightly news is because yes, we all know that one maybe leans 10% one way or the other. We all are biased, okay? We're human beings. I get that. But you're supposed to report the news. If you tune into the NBC nightly news tonight and they're just all in favor of Trump, you're going to lose X amount of people. And they're not going to no one's going to pay for the advertising. No one's going to watch your channel. No one's going to care. You have to somewhat stay in the middle when you're in journalism. You chose one side and you went down the tubes. And this is a great gift. This is just a way for you to look at it and see why in God's green earth would you be that excited about when they brought that. Look at that. And it's funny because they actually show the part where they have the poor developer. They dragged that poor son of a bitch from Japan all the way over to Los Angeles, and he didn't even know why he was on stage. He's like, I have no money, I have no game to show you, but I'm here for some reason. Yeah. So thanks, Jamie.
Crazy.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, shout out to Jamie. All right, everybody. I think that's going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast. We want to appreciate you guys coming out another Saturday evening. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. I appreciate everybody that comes on the show and shows loves. All of my guests here on the panel, they're going to go ahead and get their shameless plugs in. We're going to go ahead and start with Mooch.
Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it being on the shop podcast, buddy. PTK, man, I'm going to catch you online in a couple hours, I'm sure, if not 45 minutes.
Yeah. Sure.
We got the Crossfire podcast on my channel, 6 p.m., typically on Friday nights Eastern time, New York time, the Lord's time. When that ball drops, PTK. So that's how we do it. Guys, tune in to BGST this weekend. It's going to be tomorrow. I'm not sure if we're going to have a special time because tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so we don't want to interrupt dinners or all that special time with your special person. But we are going to have a BGST tomorrow because of the amazing week we have had that needs to be discussed. Other than that, thank you very much for having me, and I'll catch you guys next week.
For sure. Rand, go ahead.
Well, thanks for having me on, as always, PTK. I'm gonna be on the console corner on Monday with GKB, and
that was a secret, Rand. That was a secret.
Well, the secret's out now. So the secret is out now. So I would be on there on Monday and Monday night is TXR. But I just want to plug. Well, GKB kind of said it earlier. We had an excellent interview, in my opinion, with Ryan McCaffrey last night on TXR podcast. So I think everybody who's an Xbox fan should check it out. I think it was really good. So if you have the time, and want to watch it, I would really appreciate it.
It's very good.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, everybody go check that out, man. They did a podcast with Ryan McCaffrey.
Yeah, it's really good
podcast. All right, so go ahead, Paul.
I want to thank Mooch, Rand, and Zaz for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it, guys. Love talking games with you guys. I'm GKB. Big shout out to Desert She-Wolf. She's part of Gamers Knows Best.
What up, She-Wolf?
You can always check us out on Twitter, YouTube, Console Corner. Rand already said he's going to be on the show, so there we go.
All right, for sure. Go ahead, Zazma.
Since we started this, I gained a whole 7 followers. I'm up to 21, so everybody join that 21. I promise I will maybe start posting stuff usually. I'm going to actually go active in the YouTube. You're going to catch me on Console Corner when we all decide to gang up on Call of Duty. I do have my channel. I haven't been posting on it, but I promise I will start making a fool of myself soon. So, I mean, you know, thanks for listening to at least me, who doesn't have much of a following, so as well. And it's nice talking with you guys.
No problem, no problem, everybody. It's your host, PTK Blam. You can always check me out. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter, PTK Blam. I have a Facebook page you can go to. Come. Thank you guys checking out the YouTube channel also too. Shout out to Matt also too, Asthmatic, the other Matt. Sorry, I know like 12 of them. Asthmatic, shout out to him, my other right-hand man. I think he's doing some school work stuff, so he couldn't make it today. But if he's listening, what up, Matt? So thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll be resuming again next Saturday. You guys have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care of your ladies. Fellas, don't forget about Valentine's Day. That would be horrible. So you guys go ahead and get that taken care of. But appreciate you guys coming out. You guys all have a good one. Later.
All right. Take care of your fellow gamers.
Peace.